So you're arrested for a crime you did not commit. The charges are soon dropped.
Now, you would think that arrest would automatically disappear from any future background checks, like for jobs or housing.
But Fox 5 I-Team reporter Randy Travis says that's not always happening. Randy.
Yeah, Marissa and Roast, as you know, last year we aired a series of stories about people wrongly arrested on drug charges because a roadside test kit produced a false positive reading. The couple who first brought us this story live in Doraville. 1 year later, their lives have somehow changed for the better and the worse.
For it to still be on our records, when I think about it, I get upset.
It's the second summer the Fox 5 I-Team has visited the home of Simon Cofie and Clarice Doku. The first time was to talk about their arrest for being something they could not imagine. Drug traffickers.
Is there any marijuana in the car?
A roadside drug test convinced Doraville police this baggie of unmarked tablets found in their glove compartment was actually ecstasy, a psychedelic drug. Clarice tried to tell them it was folic acid, a common vitamin taken to prevent birth defects. The couple had tried unsuccessfully to get pregnant. But police believed the test over them. The couple would spend the next 2 weeks without bond in the DeKalb County Jail. Clarice lost her job. Simon missed his swearing-in ceremony to become an American citizen.
I wanted people to know about what was going on, as we were wrongfully arrested for something that we had no clue of.
Simon got his wish. We eventually tracked down other Georgians wrongly jailed based on the false positive readings of these field tests. Our investigation discovered in just 1 year, the tests got it wrong 145 times in cases all across the state. Our findings prompted law enforcement agencies here and around the world to ditch the tests or require additional evidence before making an arrest. And the investigation was honored with a Peabody Award, considered the highest prize in broadcast journalism. This story showed us that anybody could be charged wrongly with felony drug. You could. Anybody in this room could. All you had to do was have breath mints in your car, or Goody's headache powder, or cotton candy. Those all tested wrongly for meth or ecstasy or cocaine. Did you ever dream that you'd be making a change with police departments across the country and even around the world?
We were hopeful that at least something could be done, and with your help and the story that you did, wonderful story, it brought some changes.
But one change has not yet happened. Last year, when we ran a background check on Clarice, look what popped up. A felony drug trafficking arrest, even though the charges had been dropped. So this summer, we ran her name again. And it came up that you were arrested for drug trafficking.
It's not fair at all. Something I didn't do, and it's still showing it's not fair at all.
State law requires those records be automatically expunged from the official criminal database known as GCIC, restricted from public view if the charges are not prosecuted. The DeKalb DA's office says it reported the charges dropped last summer. Simon's arrest does not show up on his background check, but it's clearly still a problem for Clarice. She says luckily a friend vouched for her when she applied for an IT job last year.
The only thing that helped me was I'm a hard-working person, and they all know me, and I showed them the story we did. So they knew, but I still have to explain myself. Why is it still showing if you're saying it's been dismissed?
The Georgia Justice Project has offered to help. Part of the nonprofit's work is to help clear criminal records for people wrongly accused.
These folks did absolutely nothing wrong. These were wrongful arrests, and yet the burden is on them.
Brenda Smeaton says instead of using GCIC data, private background companies often pull directly from jail records or clerk's files, databases that are not covered by that automatic restriction law. You've got to make that request yourself.
It's really hard to pull that information back from all the sources once it's out in the world.
Once you've rang that bell.
Exactly.
The Georgia Justice Project is helping Clarice with the paperwork. A frustrating year indeed for this couple, and yet, remember that folic acid the roadside drug test did not recognize? The vitamins Clarice was taking as part of her efforts to get pregnant? A year later, Simon and Clarice are now parents. Her name is Mandy Nashira. Strong blessing.
She's strong, loving, she's everything. She made me forget all the pains I've gone through. God has been good to us.
Better than the previous year.
Yeah, better. Far better than the previous year.
She's adorable. Regardless of whether they can get those jail and court records blocked, law enforcement will always be able to see that the couple was once arrested for drug trafficking. Only about half the states in this country block police from seeing arrests that were later dropped. Georgia is not one of them, so that's going to be always there if the police pull them over or want to run a background check on them.
Yeah, it doesn't seem fair. And it doesn't seem fair that Clarice or anybody else who was wrongly accused should have to take it upon themselves to get their record cleared. To me, it doesn't.
Well, it's because these background check companies rely on so many different databases, not just the GCIC one.
Right.
That's taken care of automatically. It's those other ones, the jail records, the court records. We live in an information age now, and there's so much information out there. It's really hard, as I said, to unring that bell once you've been arrested. So that's why hopefully we've provided some information for the public here. If you do get arrested and it's a bad arrest and you're hoping to keep it quiet because you don't want to get in trouble with your boss or try to explain something to a landlord one day, you're going to have to take the steps yourself. It's not going to be an automatic thing, unfortunately. It's not, at least not in this state.
And that could take some time, as we've seen here.
Time and labor.
No kidding. Randy, thanks.
Sure.